welcome to another Checiegirl Creations DIY video. So today I will be sharing with you the unboxing for my new mixed media box, and this is the December box, themed muted tones. And there is only one of these left, so if you're interested in getting one of these, please do check out the links below, and I also have links to all the previous boxes that are still available, and they are all marked down as well. So if you want to get yourself a little bargain, please do check out those links, and I will link a playlist to the previous boxes unboxing videos and process videos, as well as any other videos. So now for the unboxing. So when you open the box, it's always wrapped in tissue paper, and you get a little welcome card. So it says, "Welcome to the Checiegirl Creations Mixed Media subscription box." And on the back it has the contents. So as we're going through, I'll read them out to you. Okay, so first this one pops out. I didn't want to cut it, and I'll explain a little bit why after we've taken everything out. I wanted to leave these A4. So you get 2 sheets of 120 GSM white paper, A4 size, as you can see. The camera is going to struggle focusing for a bit because it doesn't like white backgrounds, so it'll pass in a little bit, sorry for that. And then 2 white sheets of cardstock, and this is 200 GSM. So this is kind of part of the base, because you always get a base, but the base is kind of like in a few parts, and you'll see more as I go along. So the medium for this box is clear chalk primer. We haven't had clear chalk primer in a while, so I'm excited to share this with you guys again. The last one was last year's September box. It's been a while. And just an FYI, the clear chalk primer likes to separate if it's been sitting for a while. So before you go to use your clear chalk primer, just give it a mix. You can shake it a little bit, then just go in with a palette knife or like the end of your paintbrush and give it a nice stir before you use it, so it works to your advantage. One of the tools is a rubber brayer. I won't be using this one today because I have one set aside that's covered in paint, which you'll see in a little bit. Actually, I'll show you that now. This is mine. So I don't want to dirty this one just yet, so I won't be using that today. And that's like 10 centimeters wide, by the way. And this is some sequin waste. And this is great as a stencil or even creating texture. And you'll see why I included that later on. Some yarn. There's a bit of length, I just wrapped it up neatly there for you. A palette knife, it's a small palette knife. It's one of the other tools, and a fork. And we're going to use this for mark making. It's clear, so you can't see it too well. Okay, so I think I will look at one of these. Oh yes, so the main tool for today, which goes with the brayer, is a mixed media plate, and this is by John Next Door. Yep. And it's a mixed media plate. Everyone's going to get a slightly different size. This one I have is a circle. I know it's clear, so it's not going to be easily seen, but you'll see that when I'm using it, which is why we have these mark making tools, because we're going to be doing some printing with this. And it's nice and thin as well, and you can put this on like a large stamping block or anything like that, but you'll see when we're going to use it. And in this pocket we have 2 luggage tags, which you can print on as well. That's also why I have the sheets, because you can cut it down or, you know, create a nice big print depending on what you want. So you have 2 large luggage tags, like craft coloured. 10 white paper doilies. We have 18 designs, and these papers are from, they're 4x4 inches by the way. They're by Craft Sensations, and it's the collection is called Vintage Romance, and you get 18 designs in here. So you get one of each. And you can see that this box isn't very Christmassy, but it is perfect, I would say, for like creating some Valentine's things if you're into that. So you can get ready for that. I thought I would do something different for this December box instead of making it Christmassy, so I know not everybody celebrates Christmas. And then these die cuts. They are by Greetings original collection die cut shapes, and there's 6 of them, and everyone will get slightly different. So those are the ones we have there. So I'll put that back in here. And then the main paper pad that we have for this month is by, they're 6x6, and it's called PS I Love You, and it's 200 GSM, so it's nice and thick cardstock really. And you get 16 designs, so one of each again. So I'll just go through. Some of these are double-sided, so I'll show you like this. So that's double-sided. It's extremely light though, you can't really see it. So it's this one. This one has text. Not sure if you're going to pick that up. That's the back. It's double-sided as well. So like half of the pack is double-sided. And then these, we've now gone through all the double-sided ones, but these are embossed, so the flowers are slightly raised on this one. Some of these designs are slightly raised as well. And then this one, it's got like a kind of texture to it, so it's not embossed, but it's got some of the spots are slightly shiny, so when you rub across you feel a nice texture. And so is this one. This one's kind of glossy. This one too. This one, some areas on the flowers are slightly glossy. Not sure if you can see that. These, the diamonds are. And this one's slightly textured as well. So those are the papers. The 6x6 papers anyway. And then the main base, you get this little canvas board. So you can then use the papers that you've printed earlier and decorate the canvas board with it, which I plan to do. And you get some foam, which you can use as a mark making tool. You can punch out shapes, or you can cut into it and then use it to create marks on your plate, which I'll show you when we're creating. And then you get 3 different stencils. This one's got kind of like, it reminds me a little bit of snow, but I just really like how the pattern just kind of filters down. And then these are some different flowers. And then these are some leaves. So you get 3 stencils, and again we can use that on the plate. Get 2 printed napkins. So you can use that as a nice base of texture on your canvas board. So you get 2 of those. And then in this big pouch, you have your paints. So you get 3 paints in this one. Everyone gets different colors. and they are by Talon's Art Creations, and they're acrylic paint, and they're all 75 mils, and you'll get 3 colors that like work with each other. So I have permanent blue violet, this kind of purple color, yellow ochre, and then carmine or carmine, I'm not too sure how you say that. So those are the colors I got, and that's in your big pouch. So we'll be using that on the jelly plate. No, sorry, not the jelly plate, the mixed media plate. And then you get 3 washi tapes. And all 3 of them are black and white. We've got kind of like music notes to tie in with the papers. And all of these are 2 meters long. And then you also get some gauze. We've had gauze before, but I thought it'd be really nice and fun because I thought we could experiment with using the gauze on the mixed media plate to do the printing, to see what kind of textures it'll make. And I've never done that before, so we'll both be experimenting together. So I'll put these back in. And gauze is also fun, just to create some texture on your canvas board as well. Okay, so now for the small pouches. We have quite a few small pouches. We have a few different embellishments. So in this one we have some wooden music notes. They're all slightly different. And you get 20 little music notes. So I put those back in there. And then in this one we have a few wooden like leaves, butterflies and flowers, and you get 13 of those. So those are very cute. And then in this one we have some bird cages, and again they're all slightly different, and you get 9 of these. Oops, dropped one. You get 9 bird cages. There's a few different designs. And in this one we have some like mint colored resin roses. And in the last little pouch we have some flat back gems. And you get a whole bunch of different colours in these, and you get 77. And these will just be really nice for adding just like a little bit of sparkle to like your canvas board, just to finish it off. You get a whole bunch of different colours. So I'll put those back in. Okay, I'm going to make sure and keep this nice and closed because I don't want any of them getting away from me because they're quite small. So that's what comes in the box. So you can see this is very much so that you can just experiment with a whole bunch of different things, especially with your mixed media plate. And I'm really excited to use it because I have like my own, but it's a lot larger. It is 8 by 10. Yep, it's 8 by 10 I believe, and I'll link to any of those jelly printing videos, so that will be nice and different and fun for us to experiment with. So what I'm going to do, I will get everything ready and I'll do some jelly printing with you, and just to kind of show you what you can do. And that'll be like the first video for this box. I like to do 2 to 3 videos for each box to show you how you can use it in different ways. So we're going to do some some printing, the mixed media plate, and the next videos will be me using the prints that we create. So I shall stop this section here, and I will be back to start some printing. So I will just get everything ready, and I shall be back to do some printing with this mixed media plate. Okay, so I've got my cardstock and my 120 GSM paper. I've got my mixed media plate, and I also have a scrap piece of paper that I'm going to roll my brayer off with all my mark making tools. And I'm using gauze from one of the previous boxes. Thought I wouldn't open the one that I have in this box. And it took quite a while for me to get that acetate off the plate, but just be gentle with it. It's just because it's the first time, and I'll just put that acetate back on to protect it. So the first few prints, I'm just going to try to figure out how much paint to put on. You don't want to put too much on. That was pretty much like the perfect amount. You want to hear a kind of sticky sound when you're rolling it with the brayer, then you know that is a good amount. You don't want the brayer to just be slipping around, because then that's too much. And you will see in future prints when I put too much paint on, and I'll point that out. So initially I just wanted to see like how it would print. And now I'm using that sequin waist, and you can see I've just pressed that on there, and that's created a nice pattern on the plate. And I'm going to overlap them. I just wanted to show you while I'm doing these prints how you can layer up your prints. They tend to look better when you layer them up anyway. And I put that yellow ochre, and I'm just using that plastic fork. And that fork is quite nice because it's not very sharp edges, and that print had too much paint. So I had quite a bit of paint left over on my brayer, so I just used it for another print. And I'm using the brayer I did get in the kit to roll on the plate so that I can get a really nice print. You can just like burnish with your hands, or if you have a burnisher as well, that will be fine. But if you have that like a extra brayer, then feel free to use that. Or if you don't mind, like just cleaning off your brayer quickly and then rolling over. And there I definitely had too much paint on there, but that wasn't too bad. And I'm using this very much as a stamp. Normally I'm used to putting the paper on the plate to create the print, but because it's nice and small, I thought I would try that out. When I cut the foam with the scissors, I did do a curved one. I did not like that one so much. I liked it when I cut it with pointy edges. So maybe you could just do the pointy edges when you cut your foam. And I didn't show you with this one, but you can like say if you cut a heart shape or circle shape or whatever shape out of your foam and then stamp it on to your plate, you can then stamp it onto the paper, so you're stamping on some color as well as you're leaving a pattern on your plate. And I did use the gauze on there. It did create a really nice fine pattern, and you'll see that in the photos at the end. And you can see I'm not cleaning off my brayer every time, because sometimes I do have quite a bit of paint on there and I don't really want to waste it, so I can use that for an extra print. And I'm not cleaning the paint off the plate. Sometimes I do if I'm switching from like really different colors, but all these colors work together nicely, so I didn't really bother to do that. I did try to get the paint through the stencil, and it didn't work too well because I did know that the plate was a bit dry. So I'm doing that again there. Again, not so much, but then it did leave a really nice pattern on the plate. So you can see that there. And then I just used the excess paint off the stencil to create a bit of a print on there. And I thought that that page was quite full for now, so I would move on to this one. And I'm rolling some paint through the stencil just to see how it would look. The paint was very thick there though. So when I put it on there, you can see it does smush a little bit, but I thought it looked quite cool. And again, I'm doing the whole layering thing just to kind of show you how it looks. Prints don't normally tend to look that great when you first print it, but especially like the ghost prints I find look the best. And when you just keep on layering over and over again, it does tend to look quite nice. And I thought I would try doing what I normally do, is put the paper on the plate. So since I was rubbing with my fingers, I was able to get in there in the detail, unlike the brayer was, so you can try that as well. And again, I'm using the ghost print. And you can see that sometimes when there's paint left over on the plate, when I put some more paint on top of it, it does leave, when I do a second print, you can see some of that paint is removed. So you'll see me at the end of the video, when I'm trying to get a lot of paint off my plate, I will just put some like white paint on there, and then that'll kind of help clean the plate before I go in there. I tend to clean it with either baby wipe or like paper towel and some water. So now I'm going to like print through the sequin waist. I stuck it down with some of that washi tape I had. I didn't want it to like move too much, especially since the sequin waist was like rolled up. It wasn't staying in place. So you can see in some areas it printed out quite nicely. So I was happy with that. And then it left it with that really nice ghost print. And I prefer the ghost print actually, which is what normally tends to happen. And I was going to try again to see if I can use the brayer, but again it didn't really work so much, so I would just recommend just putting the paper on top of the plate and then using your fingers to get in there with the detail. And you can see I'm just constantly layering and layering and layering. And it will look quite busy at the end. This one I'm working on at the moment turns out to be my favorite. The cardstock one not so much. So you can cut that into like embellishments or tags. I know it's probably will be past Christmas by the time I upload this, or almost there, but you know, you can make things into ornaments, anything really. And oh, I did draw like a little heart with my fork and printed that as well, so you can draw designs on there, which is really nice and fun to do. So I'm doing that again with my fork, but just a pattern. And this is some of the ways that like I create my backgrounds for my deco art tags. I'll link those below so you can know what I'm talking about if you're not familiar with that product. But I create normally a very busy background that doesn't look too good when it's big, but once you cut it all down into nice small sizes, which are the tags, it looks really nice. So that's a really good example for how busy backgrounds can turn into really nice little tags. And there the paint was really thick. I put a bit too much on, but then it helped kind of stand out from the other ones, especially since the yellow ochre is lighter than the other colors. And again, I was just drawing in designs. I did a lot of drawing in designs on that side. So now I figured that was enough color. And now I'm going to bring in some white. This is from my own supplies. You can bring in any light color, even if it was just like a really bright yellow or a lighter red, anything just to break it up a little bit. Now I tried to use the yarn again, but I put too much yarn for the size of the plate, but that was fine because it then left me with that really nice design on the plate, so I just printed that somewhere else. And now I'm just really brightening up the area, using all the different techniques I was before, and even some of those spaces where it's just really just plain white. If I just kind of go over and the white picks up some of the colors beforehand, and then it kind of creates a kind of creamy color, which is nice. You can see I drew in there. Again, I put a little bit too much paint, but it was perfectly fine. It smushed a little bit, but I was happy with it. And you can just experiment. So like with that, where I'm drawing in with the heart, I was removing more within the heart, but then another one I'll remove more from the background. So just experiment. It's all just like nice and fun. If you have like the square plate, you can create a patchwork design. So just use your shape plate to your advantage. This one I smushed a little bit too much. There was way too much paint on there, but then I just scraped in the design since the paint was still wet. And you can see how that's just really brightening things up, and especially since you're drawing in the patterns, the colors shine through as well, which is really nice. But just play. It does take a while to get used to the printing. I haven't printed in a long time, so I did feel as if I was kind of spinning top in mud for a little bit. But once you get like kind of used to it, then you'll know like how much paint to put on your plate, for instance, and what you like. So this is this one here I'm working on. I really liked how it was turning out. But it does take a while for you to kind of find your style in printing. So that one, there was way too much paint, so it was a bit of a blob. But then I'll just go over that with a little bit of paint and it'll fix itself up. So that was a little bit better. There was less paint there. And always use the paint that's like left over on your stencils. You can just use that as a nice ghost print, and it's all about the layering. I know I keep on saying that a lot. And I went over that like blob with the gauze as well, just to kind of break it up a little bit. So I do tend to do this a lot, but the scrap paper I use for the brayer, thought I might as well spruce that up a little bit. So I'm just going over that with a little bit of white patterns, and then I can use that for something else as well. So I will talk to you in a little bit. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again for another video. And I'll make sure and link previous jelly printing videos in an iCard in the top right hand corner for you. Okay, talk to you in a bit. Bye. Okay, so that's me all done. I've just done these 3 pages. You can see that I printed on the scrap paper as well, so I can use that. I like this one. This is my favorite. I know it looks really busy, but in the next video I will show you how you can use your prints, and they do tend to look kind of busy like this unless like you print with a kind of plan. I just wanted to experiment and see what I could do with the plate. Especially since I've never used a small plate like this before, and I haven't jelly printed in a long time. So this is my definite favorite. So this one I'll probably like cut into smaller pieces. You can use punches and everything, because sometimes when a background that's quite big looks like a hot mess, you can cut it down and make it look a little bit better. So like this, if you would like to take different areas and maybe like kind of block them off, you might like them more. So you can like cut them into gift tags or something, anything like that. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. There'll be photos at the end of the video, and oh, don't forget to click that bell so you get notified whenever I upload a video. And I want to thank my subscribers who are sticking with me. I really want to thank you guys for all your support. It really means a lot to me, and it's really exciting to see whenever I get a new subscriber, so please do. And don't forget to check out this box via the links below, and any of the previous videos which are linked in an iCard in the top right hand corner. So I will clean this off just using some water and a paper towel, or you can use a baby wipe, whichever you have to hand. Some of the paint got on the edges, so I want to make sure and get all that. I like to keep my plates clean. Some people I know don't mind if it's a little bit covered in paint, but I know I like to take off most of the paint off of my plate. It doesn't have to be pristine. And just one more thing before I go, when you're using something like this to create marks, don't press too hard, because once you put an indentation into your plate, it'll stay in there. So that's it. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you join me again for another video. Bye!